So plants were here first. They are subject to evolutionary pressures. And they equip their seeds with lectins. Dun, 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 dun. Now, what the heck are lectins? Lectins are sticky proteins that look for sugar molecules. And these sugar molecules are on the surface of your mouth, believe it or not. They're in the entire surface of your gut, your intestines. By the way, your intestinal surface area is only one cell thick, one cell. And that surface area is the same surface area as a tennis court. So, middle row here. So, just look around at your rows and look far and across. This is the surface area of your intestines. Every one of you in this room has that surface area all coiled up in the ear. That is actually your border where you meet everything that you swallow. And that border is one cell thick, and all those little cells are lined up side by side, kind of stuck together. Anybody know the term tight junctions? Anybody heard that? Okay, it's all right. Anybody play the game Red Rover, Red Rover? Okay. Who hasn't played Red Rover? Oh, wow. What, are you 2 years old or something? No, the young kids don't play Red Rover anymore because I guess it's too dangerous. Yeah. So anyhow, in Red Rover we have two lines of kids. Actually, most cultures have this game because I see people from all over the world. And so everybody's locked arms like this, and the kid runs across and tries to break through, and the really nasty one is the kid with his knee up like this. And remember? And the girls scream, and so if you break through the line, you get to capture somebody. But that's not what the talk's about. But it actually is a good example. So all these cells, one cell thick, are all lined up, and they've all locked arms with what are called tight junctions. And the idea is that everything you swallow ought to stay on this side of the border. And then we'll digest it, and the bacteria will do all sorts of fun things. And then we'll engulf little pieces of proteins and fats and sugars, and they'll go to the other side of the border. Now, lectins have a different idea. What lectins do is so incredibly wonderful. And this was discovered by Dr. Fasano at Johns Hopkins University. And what lectins do, and he looked at the lectin gluten. Anybody heard of gluten? So Dr. Davis is here, wheat belly. Gluten happens to be a lectin. So lectins, like gluten, attach to a little sugar receptor on the wall of the gut, and they flip a switch. And that switch makes another compound, and that compound breaks the tight junctions. Now think about this. If the border is now porous, you can have tons of bacteria going across the border, and you can have tons of lectins, which are foreign proteins. They're splinters. Go across the line of your gut. And this is what leaky gut is. Now, I used to think leaky gut was this kind of hilarious little thing that everybody wanted to blame every complaint they ever heard of on. In fact, I'm now convinced that every one of us, particularly in Western society, because of what we'll talk about in a minute, has leaky gut. Absolutely. And I have blood tests that prove it. I have blood tests that show when it's sealed. So this is not conjecture on my part. I've studied over 10,000 patients, published on this. I'll show you an example in a minute. This is not fantasy. So the sticky proteins hack through our gut wall, and they actually bind to our joints, our nerves, our brain, and our immune system. Anybody take glucosamine and chondroitin sulfate and MSM for their joints? Anybody? Yeah. Go to Costco. Those actually work in about 50% of people, placebo-controlled trials. Now, everybody thinks it does something magical in your joints. It doesn't do anything in your joints. These compounds are actually sugar molecules that lectins attach to. So when you're swallowing your joint support or whatever, you're actually binding the lectins in your gut so that they can't be the big kid and go across the wall in Red Rover, Red Rover. And that's how they work, because the lectins never got to your joint that caused the inflammation.